Sitting here in my tent this morning and looking at my little river guide booklet. Again, back there where it says Wakely Bridge, that's where I started on Saturday. And you come over here, it's a 107-mile mark. It starts in Grayling proper at the 120-mile mark, and then numbers go down the closer you get to Lake Huron. So I went through this whole area on Saturday, and this whole area. I stopped and checked out Rainbow Bend Campground, but I did not continue on. And went through this page, and I stopped there at Parmalee. Wow, look at how dirty my finger is. It's from picking up all the brush yesterday for the campfire. Parmalee, which was 90. Left Parmalee the next morning. There's that Mayo Pond. That thing was treacherous. Yep, this is what it looks like in full. Getting across that dam was really tough. But this section, being in this section of the water, was really, really, really worth it. And then there's Meadow Springs. I really enjoyed that campground where I stayed the night 2 nights ago. We moved on, and again another section. It just went on, and I really loved this area. And as you can tell, there's lots of, as I was pointing out when I went through there's lots of areas of national forest. These yellow areas are private property, and the national forests are areas you can stop wherever you need to. There was McKinley Landing. And Buttercup Campground. I don't know. I remember seeing Buttercup. There was Bear Island, which is up there. That's the one that I didn't remember seeing when I passed through. Right here is the campsite I stayed at night before last that I had reserved. And you travel through Elkona Pond, which was, even in the morning, was pretty rough to get through. Right over in this section where I saw those fish, that was pretty impressive. After I got over the dam, there's Bobcat Creek where I stopped at for a while. And all these little red markers are campsites that I passed along the way. Some of them, when you go over to the little river guide, it tells you if they have vehicle or boat-in access. In other words, you can get to them by boat from the water, or you can walk in or drive in. As I was passing them, all of the ones that do have boat-in access, regardless if they had water access or not, or drive-in access or not, had posts up out on the shore, pointing upwards, saying that you were at that site. That is, I saw 16 and 17. I did think I was past 17 at one point when I wasn't, but I most certainly was past. 18 was here, 19 was here. I never saw the marker for this in this section. And I remember when I thinking that it was going to be right up here. And instead I come around and I saw 19. And so then I knew I'd passed it. And then I saw 20. And there was, I mean, in this section of the river, the water was just moving so quickly. There's no option to try to paddle backwards upstream. I was that most of the day yesterday. I fought the river just to stay from being pushed to shore. It was moving so quickly in that area. Wouldn't say I disliked the whole trip yesterday, but it was definitely a rough one. And then all the way through here, through Mile Pond, I really didn't have any time to film or like stop paddling because the winds, the headwinds were just really, really bad. I think it was about the time I got here when the wind started cooperating with me and blowing in the same direction that I was going. And if you've never paddled across one of these ponds, that it's not an easy task, and it's not undoable, but depending on how the wind and the waves are going, sometimes it makes it very close to undoable. I came along and I stopped at site 22, which is where I ran into folks later on that were like, this is our campsite. And so I respectfully left. I didn't have my stuff set up yet. And I moved on to 23, and that's where I am now. Today, I am at 23, which is the 34-mile mark, approximately. And I have to paddle to this dam, unload my kayak, get everything over and back in the water. That's Loud Dam. And then I will get into the 5 Channels Dam area, which I'm not expecting. I've never been through that area very much. I've driven over the bridge, which is right up here, and I'll probably talk about that when I get there. I'm expecting that area, the 5 Channels Dam pond, to be fairly easy to paddle through compared to like, you know, you look down here and it's a big wide open space, and that really just looks like a wider river. So we'll find out. There are some campsites through there, but none of them are the one that I have booked. So I have to get over 5 Channels Dam and then into Cook Dam. And this does look a little bit more difficult to paddle through. But I am, if you're familiar, Lumberman's Monument is right up here. And I'm going to be staying at Site 38 tonight, which is mile marker 26.9, so about 30. I don't have too far to go today in perspective to every other day being, you know, close to 19 miles or 19 miles almost every day. You know, there's a site here on this island, and I just want to point this out. Like, I had learned about that and never really looked into it, thought it sounded kind of cool a long time ago. So when I was planning this trip, I said, well, let me see if I can get that island. And on the Wednesday, it's booked. This site is probably the most sought after site on this whole trip, this whole area. And yeah, I didn't really see, I kind of just looked around to see what it might be open, and I didn't really see much time that it was open all the way through the times that you could actually, until we hit the season where it's non-reservable. So, yeah. Well, I'm gonna get up and start doing things. Looks like the mosquitoes have calmed down or moved along a little bit. I can get out and get to the bug spray, but I'm gonna start packing up. And good morning on day 5. Just was off in the woods there doing some morning business, and heard a sound off coming from my tent. It sounded like music, and as I was walking back, I realized it was my phone alarm. And a lot of times I'd still had my phone off unless I'd turned it on to do some filming. I didn't turn it off when I finished the last filming, so I haven't really heard my alarms going off unless I've been out on the river, which are usually not morning wake-up alarms. But anyways, it is 6:30, and this is a good look at what it looks like at Camp 23 at the Loud Dam campsite, which are boat-in access only. This is actually a pretty nice site despite 2 things. It wouldn't be on the top of my list for these 2 things. You've got this little steep area that you have to walk down here to bring up your gear. You can see down there, well, maybe not yet. I mean, there is a walking path, but it's not the best on this side over here to get down to your kayak. It's kind of steep and a lot of roots, and there's good places to tie up down there, but then you got to bring everything up this kind of difficult hill. And the other side, even though it's very clear, is all really deep sand, so it's not any easier. So that's strike 1. And strike 2, which is actually also one of the really big positives, is it has this little inlet here where there's a lot of standing water. And although that creates a lot of wildlife viewing, because they come in here to kind of chill out, it also creates a lot of mosquitoes. This site, I've really had to off myself more. A lot of sites that I've been at, I haven't had to put any bug spray at all on. And also, it wasn't until yesterday, but this happened out on the river, that I experienced any ticks. So like getting into this area, obviously there's been bugs, but not the kind that have bothered me as much. So I'm going to start getting packed up here and get cleaned up and move along to the next place. Even though I have plenty of time, I'm just going to take my time. As I guessed, last night it took me about 30 minutes. I wasn't moving real hard to get across the rest of the pond and to the dam portage. I'm at Loud Dam Pond's portage right there. I'm not going to screw around a real long time. I'm going to start moving my gear and get back on the river, because I think our luck with weather may have run out. Those clouds are not looking friendly. All right, so I made it this far and it's been like 45 minutes. So if that tells you much, there was 2 trips there with gear way up over that hill
and around almost the same amount of road. You're only seeing half the road, it winds. I filmed earlier. I'm gonna have to put my kayak up on this and let it roll down. I am taking the cart off, and the good news is I did finally find a system where my cart will stay on. I crisscrossed the tension straps and then the same way underneath with the cart and went back to my chair and pulled them as tight as I could. Then I did actually add one more bungee. The other bungee, I think I have some more, but I don't know where they are. I had one more that was still out, but it won't fit down to the cart and up to the chair, and I couldn't find another place to lock it. So we made the cart work, which is good, because we still got 2 more dams to go over. One more today, and not very far, in about 3 miles. I am gonna get this loaded up and get in the water. The guy mowing the lawn said the forecast is that it's supposed to rain all day and that it should have started. It hasn't yet. So I'm gonna do what I can to miss it. All right, trying to find a way where I can film a little bit while paddling since I don't have my stand anymore. But it's about 9 o'clock. I launched. Took me almost an hour to get all my gear portaged over the dam and back into the water. Although I am 50 years old, so I don't move real quick, and when I need a break, I do my best to take it, at least for, it's not long, just a few seconds, and then pick up and move some more. Some of you might be saying, well, 50's not that old, and some of you might be saying 50. I thought you'd be dead by now. This pond, I was hoping for a little bit of river flow. It's so far, and I expect it to be like this the whole way. When I get a minute, I will flip the camera around and let you see it for a second. But it is basically like getting to the mouth of one of the other dam ponds, where it just starts to open up and the river becomes really wide and hard to tell exactly where the actual current flow is, if there's any. I mean, there is, but it's pretty, it's not that strong. I am out in the middle and just trying to stay with it. A lot of flies on this water. As far as I know, oh no, I do see a campsite over to the left. Or no, it might say no camping. No, that is a campsite. So I can't tell what number it is. I thought when I looked at my river guide when I was planning this trip that there were none over here. That actually looks like a pretty decent site. I'm going to finally... There's a marker right there. See, that one's actually very visible, unlike the site that I didn't make it to. Definitely paddling here is, well, I'm getting pulled now a little bit. I don't know if I'm getting pulled in the right direction. I'm going to watch the shore for a minute and see which way will I go. But anyhow, I think if I am not really moving at all, well, I guess that's not a bad thing. I can take a minute. I haven't really been paddling for long. I could see that pontoon over there from where I put in around the corner. Yeah, that looks like actually a fairly nice campsite. I think it says 28. I'm not going to bother zooming in. If I do this again, I definitely think that looks like one that I would like to stay at. Really easy to find. It's just after one of the dams, so you could cross one later in the afternoon when it gets a little calmer and make it there, and then go on. Well, I am not moving at all, so I'm going to get back to paddling. And just like that, my luck has run out. It has started to rain. I am going to put this camera somewhere, my phone somewhere dry and safe, and try to paddle as far as I can. If it doesn't get any worse than this, I won't worry about my rain jacket. Right now, this actually feels kind of good. It's been so hot. Pretty much done with 5 Channels Dam Pond. Didn't film much at all. I'm at 5 Channels Dam. This place is actually got some history for me too, because this bridge over here, there's 2 of them. The one used to originally be the road when I was a kid, and then they changed and built the brand new bridge behind it, and the road is detoured up there. That is M65, and just south of there is Hale, or where you, if you were traveling south, you turn off on River Road to go to Old Orchard Campground, which is where I am ending the day after tomorrow. If you go north for about 5 miles, you get to Glenny, which is the town that is adjacent to Elkona Dam Camp, or Elkona County Campground, where I grew up going. So I used to drive through both of those roads quite significant amount of times going up there. This dam is very, very difficult to portage, probably even harder than Mayo. Oh, I just realized I lost my ink pen there. It was one of the things that tipped out when I was getting out. It is sprinkling still. I haven't run into any bad rain. Hopefully that continues. Didn't film a lot. I had to really focus on paddling. Didn't have that much of a headwind, but still the water doesn't really drift in your favor. And for a short amount of time, I'll have that on my side. But pretty much I'm entering Cook Dam Pond as soon as I get in the next water. There's a real steep hill here, and then there's stairs. And what I think I'm going to do is try, I saw some other guy do this on a video here, and see if my kayak, with all the gear on it, will just slide itself right down that hill. Let's see what happens. Well, goodbye to 5 Channels Dam Pond. We're crossing underneath the old bridge that I mentioned earlier. Here comes the new one. I'm going to see if I don't have to paddle for a little while, because I know that I'm basically getting into Cook Dam Pond, and it'll definitely be pretty difficult again to paddle, especially if we end up with any headwind. Hopefully we don't. Might have to do some paddling here pretty quick, or I'm going to run into that pole. So I'm going to stop for a second and, oh no, I think I'm going right past it. We'll take our chances here and see how it works out. Oh, I've become pretty daring, huh? Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss it. My campsite 38. I don't remember how many miles up it is. I don't even know what time it is. I want to say it's 11 o'clock. I think 11:30. Let me see if I can look real quick. It is 10:58, so I was right. It's 11 o'clock. It really has not been that bad. I left at 7:30. Got to Loud Dam Pond, or Loud Dam, excuse me, finished the pond by about 8. Took me about an hour to Portage. I don't remember what time I got here, but it did not take me as long because I could let my kayak go down that hill. The system I had with my cart didn't seem to work this time, but I was being kind of quick, and because it was actually a lot closer after it went down the hill, I decided to just kind of drag it the rest of the way to the Portage after I unloaded the gear. And then one of the fellas, there was a couple fellas up there fishing that I started talking to. They're friendly people. One of them does tattoos, and of course he gave me a business card for it. Not sure that I'll check it out or not. I mean, I don't know that I'm planning on getting any more in my lifetime, but who knows. Next stop that I plan on doing is Largo Springs, and or I'm not sure, it's Iargo or Largo. I'm never not. I mess that up every time, and I feel like every time someone says no, it's this, and then I remember it that way, and then somebody else says no, it's that, and I don't know. It is what it is. A little bit of history with that place, but I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. As you can see, I am just kind of drifting along here, and I'm just letting that happen. Not moving incredibly fast, but it's nice to have this opportunity again, because it was a lot of hours that I had to paddle, and without stop, or you're off course very easily. But I was able to do it, and I'm doing it with the cheap broken paddle, or not broken, but cheap, weak piece of shit paddle, because of course my dumbass lost the nice one that I had. But I guess that's just the kind of guy I am. I made sure I had a backup. I made sure. Oh, but it's definitely it's very overcast. It's only been sprinkling on and off. It has not really been a problem. I did keep the wet, or the dry bag over my backpack, but as far as the rain suit, I haven't put it on. It's not actually, the little bit of rain that's fallen has felt good. It is kind of still warm, other than when the breeze is blowing. I'm gonna get out my river guide here in a minute and see about how far I am before I hit Largo Springs, and that's where I plan to stop and eat lunch or late breakfast. I think it's kind of funny that the very beginning of Cook Dam Pond, which pretty much starts right after the 5-channel bridge, you got a small section of actual river, is actually wider in the beginning by probably 2 times than what 5 channels was in its widest area. However, there is still a little bit of current taking me in the direction that I need to go. So I'm just kind of letting that happen. I'm paddling here and there. I'm not in a huge hurry. After the springs, I'm going to only have a couple miles. I think 3. I'll reconfirm that later before I get to my campsite for the day. I know it's over on the left side. So, but it's also directly adjacent to an island that people can camp on that I wanted to book. But again, it's pretty solidly booked up throughout the summer. That's one of the more popular sites to be on. Real calm out right now. The rain seems to have stopped. It's still pretty overcast, as you can see. Not moving fast, but still moving in the direction I need to. Unlike 5 Channels Dam Pond, which was smaller, it really wasn't taking me along. I had to paddle. But and eventually when I get into the wider area of this, I'm definitely going to have to. I'm here at the springs. I've been here before, accessed it through the 300 steps from the road and the parking lot. I would really like to stop here and have lunch and check it out. However, I was remembering some things wrong, and I could tie up here, but then I'd have to basically climb up over that, which I could do. I just don't know that I want to. There's no good area for me to walk up. Everything's it's kind of deep. Some of it I can't tell how deep it is. And there's a lot of down just sticks and twigs and things that have washed in and gotten caught up in here. It was actually very difficult to paddle into this section. I got stuck on a couple of logs here, and as you can see, people use this area as a wishing well. I'm out here, I could grab all that, but I'll let it stay and let them see if their wishes come true, maybe. Maybe their wish was for me to have all that money. A couple quarters in there. Might actually be $2 total. I could buy a new paddle. Not really. All right. So I am going to just push off here and look for another area that's safe to pull off soon for lunch. Let's see if I can capture it. Oh, one just went right there. There's one. Those are really big fish. I'm assuming it's the same because I had this crossing the beginning of Alcona Pond yesterday morning. I was encountering the same thing. What if they were going crazy? Now they must know I'm filming them or something. Yesterday, man, they were just doing that all around me. And as I was crossing, I got into some of the weedier area, and I was just amazed. There was one that just did it way over there that I saw them, and these fish were like close to 2 foot long. I don't know what they are, but you just saw that one. I hope that was another one right there. These fuckers are not small. I think I got a good sight of one. Freaking sea monsters out here, man. I'm gonna sit here and film them for a little while.
I might even let myself drift into that mess, even though I know it's hard to paddle out of it. But this is definitely one of the things that you just don't get to see unless you do something similar to this. I mean, I guess you could come through here in the morning with a motorboat that from like way off. I'm gonna go in a little closer and drift through it and see what happens. All right, we'll film in now. We'll see if maybe we can catch one of those guys up close. I saw one up close when I was crossing Alcona yesterday, and I don't know what they were, because they were, I mean, they jump out and they're back in the water so fast and they're splashing, but they're still going all around me. They were just doing it just behind me. The moment I stop trying to film one, I'm gonna bet that that's when I have one right near me again. Here's someone out on the road. Oh well, I'm gonna paddle on. I didn't catch any closer shots yet, and I'm getting pushed back the wrong way. Out here just kind of drifting for a while on Cook Dam Pond. Give some shots around. Not much to see. I mean, I've been on, I'm in the wide area. There's a couple islands. There's an island there, but it's not the one that I'm camped near. It's between the headwind and the current. You can see I'm getting pushed sideways, not really so much back the way I came, but over towards this mess of like cattails and weeds and shallow area. So I'm gonna do my best to paddle some more and turn this off and get away from this. But I'm really not far from my camp, and it's like barely 12 o'clock. Right here I'm looking at site 33, which kind of bums me out. This site was originally, I don't know if it is now, but it was originally open for today. And when I was looking at it online, two different maps showed it being on an island and one did not. And I just thought, well, that's probably a mistake. It's probably not on the island, because why would it be open when the other one, 41, which is on the next up island, is like so impossible to book. But again, that's a look at it right there. Somebody left some wood there. I am obviously not staying there because I have no idea. I did not book this site, and I'm not going to. The only reason I stayed on the one I didn't book last night was I couldn't find the one I booked, and there was no way to go backwards for it. Here, I mean, we're on a pond. You can paddle backwards. I mean, the water is actually, the current right now is taking me backwards if I stop pedaling. When I was on the river area, it's not going to happen. But I have site 38, so not too much further to go. So I was wrong, and that's why the maps were saying it wasn't on an island, or the ones said it wasn't. It's actually on that peninsula, but there is an island. This is a peninsula, not an island. There is an island just back that's really small. So lots 33 and 34 were on there. Lot 33 looked really nice. Lot 34 did not. I'm assuming that right there is the island that lot 41 is on. That is the one I would love to get. Over this direction is somewhere where lot 38 should be.
So I'm going to get as close to that shore as I can and just kind of keep creeping along looking for it. But the water is kind of slowly taking me that way now that I'm over here in this direction. But either way, I'm still going to do some paddling. I'm going to check my map real quick and get a look-see. So at Camp 38, there's a few I could have booked that were open a little ways back. I didn't really look at ones further ahead. I kind of wish I'd have went with one of those ones a little further back. Around here you can see there's the campsite is up that way through that sandy area with all the trees and the roots. It's not an unclimbable area, but it's not easy to carry gear up there. I made one trip with the definitely essentials, and right now I'm getting the other things out. Definitely even worse than the one I was at yesterday as far as trying to get up to where you will actually set up camp. I'm still sure it'll be a pretty interesting place to stay for the night. And I'll probably come down here and do some fishing at some point. As I was paddling up along this shore, I saw some actual really monster fish. I believe they were very large walleye, but I'm not for certain. But they were some good sized fish. There's a lot of people moving around here on pontoons. Some of the sites that are boat in, a lot of people were used their pontoons to get to them. Yeah, silly me. I did this in a kayak and traveled a lot of, I don't know, miles to do it. But anyhow, I'm gonna grab just the essentials right now and go up and make my lunch and just relax, because at this point I deserve it. It's only 1:30. I got lots of time to do everything and anything. I'm going to take this little clip, and service actually seems to be pretty good. I'm going to see if I can actually upload a video to Facebook. Otherwise, I've been taking so much footage, I'm not 100% sure. My plan is to edit it all into like a little video that I can put up on YouTube, mostly for my own little, just for my own little memories. But I'll have to go through all this stuff and see what is actually usable, if any of it. But I've been filming a lot and taking a lot of photos. Less photos than filming. But here you are. You can see I'm still alive. It's day 5 and I'm still alive. I'm dirty as shit and I want an ice cream cone, but I'm enjoying being out here. And in 2 more, not tomorrow, but the day after, when I get to Old Orchard, the first thing I'm going to do when I get my kayak up is onto the shore is I'm going to walk to that camp store and buy an ice cream cone. Because that's for some reason, that's the thing I've been wanting the most. Give you a quick, flip this around real quick as I stand up and my view. Over there is Lumberman's Monument. And if I spin around, this is my campsite. That is all for now. Well,
I tried 2 or 3 times and that video wouldn't upload. It was halfway through and then it would just stop, and I think it's too much. I was able to get posts onto Facebook and other things just with text, which I did yesterday as well. I think I might have done that the third. I don't remember. There were a couple days that I was actually able to get messages in and out via that. Oh man. Oh. Sorry. I just checked my river guide, and I did 8 miles today, but which is really nothing. But it was across ponds and very little river area, mostly pond area, that you have to actively paddle in. And I crossed over 2 dams. Tomorrow I have 7 miles, excuse me. When I checked the mileage, I do have to go over 1 dam, and the entire way will be on dam waters, on the floodplain waters, like I was on basically, today and yesterday. This whole section, it's, until you get past Foot Dam Pond, it doesn't go back to river proper. It's flooded area, very wide, slow moving, until after Foot Dam Pond, which I will be crossing half of Foot Dam Pond and stopping at Old Orchard Camp. I'll film that coming in onto the peninsula. That is a primitive area of the campsite, and I have a site there booked for 2 nights. And I will be picked up there this coming weekend, and but that afterwards, after my 7 tomorrow, from there it's only 5. So I have, if you put the miles today and tomorrow together, it's 16, which is less than, or 15, excuse me, less than my shortest day, which was the first day, 17, and I didn't start until probably almost noon that day because we had to drive up to Grayling and get launched. And if you put tomorrow and the first day together, or the last day, excuse me, together, it's only 12 miles. So, I mean, my next 2 days, which is the end of the paddling, and is less by far than my shortest day already. I'm going to really be able to take my time. I do think that tomorrow I will probably stay at camp a little bit longer, but rush once I get on the water to get over Cook Dam, get to the dam, portage it, get on Foot Dam, or get pond, and then I can piddle around. I can really just let myself go a little bit more and enjoy that and see if maybe there's some areas where it does have some natural flow. I will also say, I'm eating a lot of these backpacking meals. This one was a ReadyWise one. I had one of the breakfast ones now. I'm going to have a dinner one later. As I mentioned before, I haven't been having breakfast. I'm going to give this ReadyWise biscuits and gravy a super big thumbs up. This is without a doubt the best breakfast one. I had their breakfast skillet. I had, their breakfast skillet was all right. I haven't tried the other ones to compare it. I had the biscuits and gravy from Peak Refuel now already, and the biscuits and gravy from Mountain House. And Peak Refuel and Mountain House both seem to have a couple really good meals. The biscuits and gravy from neither one of those were bad. Peak was a little bit better than Mountain House, but this one was actually super good. I was very shocked at how good it was. But I'm going to turn this off now. I'm going to start actually setting up camp. I've only been just sitting here doing pretty much nothing. Eating. Where the hell'd you go? So yesterday, while I was setting up my tent, I heard this weird tearing, popping sound, and I actually got nervous while I was putting in the poles. I thought that I'd ripped the tent somewhere, and I searched around the seam in the area of the pole I just put up, and it seemed fine. And I didn't realize it when I took it down this morning, but what it was I broke this pole, and it's broken off inside. I still have my hammock, but I'm going to try to use this anyway because I don't feel like going to get my hammock out of the kayak. But I think if I got it together yesterday, I can get it together today. So I made it work, got it all set up. It's a little angled here as opposed to rounded like it should be, but I think we'll be all right. I think I can repair that pole, but not with what I have here. So I'll fiddle with it, I think, more either tomorrow when I get to my other campsite or at Old Orchard or at home. Right now, my ambition is finish setting up my bedding and then firewood hunt, because I think I'm going to light my fire a little earlier than normal tonight. It's starting to be a little bit chilly. The sun did come out for a little while, but not too long. And I don't really feel like dragging all my I got one pair of long pants and a jacket buried down in my backpack. And if I don't need them, I only pulled the long pants out once, I think. No, twice now. But if I don't need them, I'm not going to bother. Don't know if you've seen these little air mattresses like this. They have a built-in foot pump, and you just place the plug in there afterwards. And the only part it doesn't pump up is the head, which you have to inflate by mouth. You also could use a air pump on these, but I mean, the whole point of these and having the built-in foot pump is, they're pretty lightweight. They're not, it's not like a wonderful queen size bed or anything, but it's better than being directly on the ground. And for less than probably a pound it weighs,
You can pick these up online, usually about 30 to 50 bucks. This one was on the lower end, but it seems to be serving me well just fine yet. So one thing, I don't know if this happens to a lot of other people, but I tend to always worry, like, you know, check again for my keys, check again for my phone, check again for my wallet. Oh, check again, did I set my alarm? You know, this over, like, did I do that? You know, trying to remember. And also, like, you know, that feeling when you're going on a big trip and there's so much that you have to pack, and thinking, you know, what did I forget? What did I forget to do? And I've been trying to be just, especially since the paddle incident, and I still am not sure how that came off of wherever I set it down and ended up and must have floated away in the water. But ever since then, you know, every time I'm breaking camp, every time I pull over, I feel like I'm being like hyper vigilant of, you know, okay, I feel like I forgot something. But I didn't. And I move on and I'm fine. And so as I was setting up that air mattress that you saw me pumping up, that was actually quite a while ago. And I was wondering if I was going to share this into my video memories, my little journal diary video here, that there's 3 plugs that go in. One that goes into the foot pump, and that one doesn't actually come out. It stays in, and then you just flip it closed. And then the other 2 pumps, the plug comes out to let the air out of the main part, and then there's another plug that goes into the pillow area, because the pillow area you inflate by mouth, and that when you pull that plug, it lets all the air out, but it also has like a double side, so when you pull just half of it, you can blow air in and it'll hold it. I had the plugs, and I was pumping it up. I'd emptied everything out, and I thought I was like, man, I only remember seeing 2 plugs when I dumped the bag out on the ground. And I thought, well, where's the 3rd plug? And it was making me really anxious, and I thought, well, it has to be here on the ground after I got done pumping up, and was going to go pump up the pillow, portion by mouth. And I didn't see it anywhere, so I got up and walked all around the campsite thinking maybe it fell out somewhere. And then I started having the memory of, wait a minute, when I was packing it up, and I remembered I packed it up inside my tent, so like the plug couldn't have fallen out on the ground like it would. I said, I remember seeing it this morning and thinking, oh shit, it didn't get in the bag. There's 1 extra plug that didn't make it in the bag, but the air mattress is already in its bag and packed at the bottom of my backpack. And I thought, well, shit, you know, I remember thinking, you got to do something with that so you don't forget it. And I couldn't remember what I did with it. And I looked through all my different bags. I went and looked through my tote. I couldn't find, well, actually, I looked through my tote last. I looked through my backpack, took everything out. I looked through my snack bag. And finally, I just assumed that it was probably gone. I must have left it at the other site. And I was down in my tote area, and I was fishing around and getting all the different things out that I wanted to bring up here for tonight, so I don't have to make a lot of extra trips down the steep mountainside. And I was looking in the tote, and no, it was not there. It wasn't in the tote. And then all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, there's something in my pocket. And here the damn thing is. And I put it in my pocket apparently so I wouldn't forget it. and then paddled 8 miles with it in my pocket and had no recollection that it was in there until now. So, yeah. I know, long story for really no point, except for the fact that I'm certain I'm going to laugh at this later. And, yeah, again, video journal. So there's the people that are on the island that have it reserved are making quite a ruckus. You can't really hear them right now, but I hear them every once in a while. And I was just thinking it'd be funny to, like, at first I thought, like, oh, they must be, drinking it up. And I said, yeah, I could, like, sneak over there in my kayak once it gets dark, like real quiet and, raid their coolers and take all their beer. But then I thought, like, how much funnier would it be if, like, all these other campsites around and, like, people just descended on them in boats with, like, pirate flags, and stormed the island. And yeah, that's where I'm at on day 5. Day 5, and I'm still alive. That's the motto of the day. Day 5, and I'm still alive. There's a major firewood score at this site, so that is one benefit of it. There's actually plenty more where that came from. A short walk down one of these few trails. Real easy to break up. I would go back for some more that's about the size of that, except for I can't get it back. If there were, if I had another person with me, I could get a lot of that back. But it's a bit much in weight-wise for how far you have to go with it. I think this is enough anyhow, though, for how late I'm going to be up. And there also is a piece of deadfall that's still hanging that's really good size that I could spend some time and cut up like I did at Site 5 the other day. But after that work there, I'm going to sit down and have some water. Ended up taking a really long nap, which was fine because it started sprinkling for a little while I was out. Really needed that. But feel pretty good now and think I might actually end up staying up even later. So I went back and cut up another couple pieces of fire, and I might still try to, but I'm going to wait till after dinner. Lake's really a lot of people out there fishing in the area right near me. Several boats out moving around, way more than I've seen anywhere. But also Loud Dam Pond's not real popular, and here we're getting a lot closer to the weekend as well. It is Wednesday. Took me a minute there, but yes, it's Wednesday,
the 18th, I believe. I'll have to look again. 18th or 19th. I certainly can't remember. I'm gonna I'm gonna turn this off and look. Got the fire started. It's going a little stronger than I really need it to, but I just did that in the beginning. Those two large pieces of pine I cut off of a piece of downfall, but it was so fresh of downfall that I had to take a good amount of time cutting it up, and it's still pretty green, obviously, so it'd take a lot longer, a lot more heat to get it to steadily start on fire and stay. Right now, well, they're not so much anymore, but they were just leaking. Oh, there goes a spot, I see. It was like they were just bleeding. Their sap was just pouring out of them. It was kind of interesting. I don't think I've witnessed that before, but I don't know that I've tried to, burn such fresh wood. Yeah, it was just boiling out and pouring down the sides of them into the fire. Starting to sprinkle a little bit again, or maybe it's raining a little bit harder. I'm under a good amount of pine tree coverage, so I'm only feeling a drip here or there. I'm not too worried about it at the minute. I've been relaxing all day, and it's been pretty nice. Yeah. This camp is pretty nice. I wish the walk down wasn't as bad. This is definitely the worst walk down I've had. So, yeah. Most of my... Got the fire still going. Weather is really kind of... The wind is really picking up. Sprinkling a little bit harder. I think we might get some decent rain tonight. We'll see what else may or may not happen. It doesn't really look like it's the kind of storm that'll bring like thunder and lightning, but you never know. The wind is moving pretty good. It's not unbearable to sit here. Most of where I'm at is still like I'm only getting a couple drips on me here and there. I'm going to see if I can get the fire going a little bit more, actually. And I think I hear somebody coming by in a boat this late and in the rain. Either that or I must be close to like a 2-track or something. Huh? It's off in the distance. Got my little camp lantern there. I am in the tent. As you can hear, the rain has picked up. It's not really major, to be honest, but it still was starting to get to be unpleasant to be out by the fire. And so I abandoned it and moved in here. This is the first night in a few that I'm not going to have my rain fly flaps open on this little tent. I got this little tent for $70 from Dick's, and I was really amazed to find it. I mean, it's actually, granted that pole broke. I can fix that, just not now. But see if you can really see around the tent or not. So we're not real big. Supposed to be a 2-person tent, but we know that that's never. Everyone has to know that a 2-person tent basically means 1 1/4, maybe 1 and a child. But I mean, I took this up. It was a Manistee River Trail for a day and a half. Oh no, I didn't use it. I used it in Manistee. I didn't use it in Hoist. I used my hammock in Hoist Lakes. But then it's been, I've used it every single night here. It's been tore down every day and put back up for 5 days in a row. Because this is day 5 and I'm still alive. I don't know what I'm gonna say for. I you know, should come up with something for day 6 for tomorrow, but I'll have to think on that when I go to sleep. This is really an amazing adventure. It's difficult to put into words, but the thoughts that you have and the things that you experience are very remarkable. And I recommend, if you're healthy enough, to do something like this, to get out. You know, take a friend, do it in a team if you're worried about being alone. But to be honest, making a trip like this, making a journey like this by yourself, really does give you a lot of time to think and put a lot of things into perspective. And it's worth it. Just woke up and I'm gonna try to get back to sleep here in a second. I had to bring some stuff inside the tent that was just on the other side of the flap. It is absolutely pouring outside. So far I'm dry in here. Hopefully that continues. Yeah.